Well, look, Bryan, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I think last time I laid eyes on you was at, I think the first day of school. Gosh, I don't even remember what school it was at,
We
but
were at Baskerville
we were at
Elementary
Baskerville.
School.
That's exactly right. Welcoming
right.
the kids in. It was kind of a fun, joyous thing. I've had a chance to do that the last couple of years, but it was great to see you and so many folks from Edgecombe County there. That was, I guess, represented the demarcation of the realignment of the school systems on the county line.
Absolutely. It was a great day to be at Baskerville Elementary and all of our schools for that matter. But it was a special occasion that day and wanted to mark the merger and the schools from East Rocky Mountain coming into Edgecombe County Public Schools and welcoming them to the family. So
That's
very
right.
excited to have everybody.
That's right. Well, it was great to see you there, too. I mean, you don't often see the superintendent out and about and in such a relaxed manner, but it's great. So, look, what's going on since then? I mean, you've had, last time I kind of checked in, we were going through the realignment of the school system based on the county lines. And, there's just a lot of unanswered questions, right? I mean, every teacher had a job. We knew that, but where they were going to fall out, how that was going to work. They were technically part of one school system until they weren't. And so that just leaves for a lot of having to make decisions on the fly. And so walk us through that. I mean, I'm sure it's worked out great, but I just hadn't checked in with you since.
Well, let me go back to last September when
Absolutely.
I stepped in as superintendent, and certainly very fortunate to be surrounded with a great team,
Right.
Edgecombe County Public Schools, and
Right.
very welcoming community. And we jumped right into the merger and wanted to make sure that we had to answer those questions
Yeah.
that, most importantly, parents wanted to have answered.
Sure.
And we focused in on several important things, making sure that parents and students knew where they'd be going to school.
Mm-hmm.
We decided the issue for where students be going for the high school because there was no high school to go to in East Rocky Mount. We worked through all kinds of other logistical issues and then had to hire, as you mentioned, all the teachers and staff in all of those schools. And as I joked a little bit, it wasn't really a joke, but our staff.
Sure.
And we also had to do our day job and make sure that we took care of the district as it existed then and take care of all those issues as well. And I am just so proud of our team and our community and all the effort that went into it.
Yeah.
And even though it hasn't been perfect, I think we've done a great job with that. And we're very excited to be one zip code under one school district.
Right. Well, my father would equate that to changing tires while you're driving down the road. And y'all have done a great job of that so far. So
Thank you.
And really it is a day-by-day thing and perfect. I mean, if there's no standard to measure yourself by, how do you even know what's perfect or not perfect other than you're just managing, right?
Well,
and kids are being educated. That's really the important thing.
That is the important thing. And in the very first community meeting I attended, as we worked through those different questions we discussed, we always tried to come back to the idea that at the end of the day, the most important conversation we will have is about what we do to educate our students and our children, because that is the most important conversation about supporting their future and what we do. And the community has been part of that, and we're very appreciative. And we're going to continue to have that conversation both with our parents and staff and community.
Right. Well, I was running for mayor for the first time, my first term, and I talked with Dr. Wilson, and I asked her, I said, because, this realignment, merger, demerger, however you want to call it, label it, was imminent, right? It's coming out there. And I was just trying to test the winds. I said, well, Dr. Wilson, what do you think? She said, here's all I know. We're going to educate our children and we're going to do a great job at it. And that's all that really matters. And you know what? And just to have that reassurance and that culture of, that's an important thing. And I think that we get too caught up sometimes in what might seem like the politics or maybe my opinion of how something should transpire or not transpire. So just walk us a little bit of how you have managed, some of the challenges. You got a lot of schools, a lot of real estate, but no high school. You got a commissary, so you got stuff, and admittedly, maybe could have been taken care of a little bit better, but regardless, you have it, and you had a certain number of students, you picked up a lot, and then who's going to go to what high school? I mean, that just start there because some folks, I'm assuming, were able to finish up with their class. Some started different places. Walk us through that because a lot of people don't know.
Well, let me go back to a point you made a little bit earlier about Dr. Wilson's comment.
Yeah.
all of this starts with the supportive Board of Education.
Absolutely.
And we have that. And
Yeah.
we're very, very fortunate in Edgecombe County to
And the
have,
county commissioners, I might add.
and county commissioners as well. Eric Evans,
Yeah.
Chairman Wiggins, all of the Board of Commissioners have been outstanding throughout this entire process since I've been here. So
Right.
very, very fortunate about that. But let me go to the high school piece, because the attendance zones for the elementary, middle schools in East Rocky Mount, we kept them the same.
Okay.
And that, I think, was very instrumental for our families to know either we're going to be staying in the same school,
Right.
or going to, if we're going to the middle school, to the same middle school that we would be going to last year,
Sure.
which I think reassured a lot of people and took a lot of sort of uncertainty out of decisions that were being made.
Right.
The real question came with the high school, because as I noted before, there was no high school in East Rocky Mount
Right.
per se. We had an opportunity, a couple of different choices were on the docket for us to consider, but we came back to North Edgecombe High School.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to North Edgecombe High School, there was capacity there to
Mhm.
support students in East Rocky Mount, more students.
Okay.
And ultimately, that has led to North Edgecombe High School increasing in size from about 200 students to over 400 plus students.
Okay.
With that.
Okay.
So it was an increase, but a reasonable increase
Sure.
that we could handle, and projecting that out. We were also very fortunate to have some grant funding to support the transition of students to the high school level there,
Mm-hmm.
which was critically important for us. There was some seed money that had been provided for us from New Schools Venture Fund to provide support for planning for students to come there.
Right.
And the whole plan, because the majority of the students come from East Rocky Mount
Mm-hmm.
for that area, most of them were supposed to be freshmen. So we wanted to make sure we designed a freshman experience for them that was supportive and committed to their educational success.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were able to do, to make sure that we wanted to form a community for them,
Right.
and make them feel welcome. In the middle of all that, as we were going through last year and last spring, we were given the opportunity to apply for another grant from New Schools Venture Fund to support. It was a larger grant to do more things at the school,
Mhm.
and also to support some of our work with a group called Big Picture Learning.
Okay.
And Big Picture Learning is committed to combining classroom work and education with workforce development,
Okay.
and developing soft skills, apprenticeships, internships, job shadowing, to make sure that the classroom is connected to the real world, and students have an opportunity to look at what they want to do beyond high school. Because we
Okay.
think it's critically important to have a conversation, not whether you're going to graduate from high school, but what are you going to do with your high school diploma and in high school to meet your plan and passion
Right.
for after you graduate.
So what does that experience look like? I mean, I think that's great. And I think that we have lost that somewhere along the way. I mean, I know that when I went to high school, there were several vocational tracks. I mean, bricklaying, automotive mechanic shop. I think we had that. I think we had some other things along those lines. You had at different tracks, some that would take you to 4-year accredited institutions, some that would take you to either a trade school or some other component, and some that allowed you to go to work immediately. In fact, several students, when they were 16, didn't, had finished all but, call it 10 credit hours. I don't know what you call it in high school, but, so they only went to school half a day and then went and actually worked somewhere for another half a day. So what does that experience look like? And is it a come back to that sort of concept, or is it something new or a different spin on it? Walk us through it.
Well, I think the experience is all those things you described.
Okay.
It's a world that's a mixture of all those things, where some students are still going to be going to get their 4-year degree.
Sure.
Some a 2-year associate's degree. Some straight into the workforce. Some straight into the military. We have to make sure we have a design that supports all those opportunities for students, and we help them develop soft skills that are transferable across all those areas,
Right.
which is really important. We also have to make sure that we provide them the opportunities to get into those real world situations where they can apply that education and develop those soft skills to be successful beyond. But that whole conversation has lent itself to something else really good that happened for us at North Edgecombe in the last just the last few weeks.
Okay.
You probably already know about this.
I don't know.
But I think a lot of people out there know that our facilities in Edgecombe County Public Schools are a little older, and we're always looking for ways to upgrade that. The Department of Public Instruction has a needs-based grant that allows school districts to apply for and update their facilities.
Okay.
We were fortunate in the last few weeks to be awarded a $62 million grant.
Congratulations.
We're very excited. We're very excited to bring together 3 schools on the North Edgecombe High School site.
Okay.
We're going to take Coker-Wimberley Elementary School, Phillips Middle School, and North Edgecombe High School into the same site, and will become a pre-K-12 site where we can continue to work on the things we were just talking about helping students get the very best education possible, combine that with workforce development to support their expansion in a renovated and newly in a new design on some other buildings at that site.
Sure.
So
it'll be a whole campus, then it'll go from kindergarten through 12th grade, I guess.
Pre-K through 12th grade.
Pre-K. Okay,
Pre-K
great.
through 12th grade.
Same general catchment area, I guess, Leggett, Rocky Mount, or at least most of Rocky Mount. And of course, part of Rocky Mount goes to Southwest too, or at least they did when I was in school.
So there will be probably about a 3-year process for that to happen.
Right.
But what we can do with that, going back to the original question about workforce development and combining those experiences with the classroom, we have a great partnership with Edgecombe Community College, which is an outstanding partner providing dual enrollment courses for our students to take. But we can provide more specific opportunities in relation to career and technical education. Different labs can be set up and different classrooms that will be able to expand what we're able to offer now.
Okay.
And hopefully tie that into the local economy, local businesses, and we can really align that with what we want to do in the community and the region. Because as you know, with economic development now, county lines, city lines are erased.
They really don't matter.
And corporations are looking for drawing that circle, as you know, in that area to find the very best workforce possible.
Well, and let's talk about transportation, because, as I said on all these economic meetings, the question is, where's everybody going to come from? I don't really care what you label it, whether it's Rocky Mount, Edgecombe County, Tarboro, Wilson County, whatever. I mean, so we're having to do concentric circles to get to a workforce of significance. And we've got to get out about 75 to 80 miles, and we get about 3 million people in that catchment area. And so one of the things the city's been working on is how do we provide transportation to connect all of these different areas so that we become the epicenter, right? So that we become the place where that all converges and we can claim that.
That's right.
But you've got the same challenges. So how does that work as it relates to, finding those real life experiences and getting people from A to B and just shuttling them around? I mean, we all have that same issue. So I'd love to hear your ideas. Maybe we can incorporate it into what we're doing.
Well, I think some of that, though, is what we're talking about with a new renovation and a new building there, where we'll be able to take some of those experiences and put them on campus.
Okay.
And with a new building, some of that will certainly help. North Edgecombe High School already has some experience, which has expanded over the last few years in relation to job shadowing and doing some internships as well. So there are businesses out there, corporations out there that are gonna buy into that. Certainly, we're going to have to do some creative thinking about how we make sure that we get students out for those experiences, but we think we can do that. We're also very excited about how Natron Energy might play into all this. With obviously is all the great news. Congratulations to everybody who's been involved with that, with bringing 1,000+ jobs to the mega site and providing a great opportunity for our community. And as you said before, corporate businesses, look out in a wide range on the map, but I'm responsible and we're responsible for Edgecombe County,
Right.
and we're going to do the very best thing we can do to make sure our students are prepared for that opportunity and to get them there.
And we are super excited about Natron. Again, though, I keep telling folks, and I say it every time that anybody will listen to me, and even when they don't listen to me, I say it, we've got to have more rooftops. We don't have enough housing in Edgecombe County as it is, and certainly not in Rocky Mount. So if we can't capture the workforce living here, they're going to live somewhere else, and the benefit of that residual payroll dollars turning over somewhere else is not as helpful as it could be to us, if that were to stay home. So,
right. Well, certainly a good problem to have, to think about the expansion and the possibilities.
I would rather that, because I have had to deal with the other issues too, and that is a lot less fun, right? How do you constrict? How do you stretch? And that's just not fun. But anyway.
And if I may add one more thing, Mayor, we've done a lot of talking about North Edgecombe.
Sure.
But there are lots of opportunities that we're looking at that are new. We're looking at we have a lot of great opportunities already out there. We have a great welding program at Southwest Edgecombe High School, which has been involved with providing great employees for local businesses for a long time. There are opportunities where we might be able to do large scale internships, apprenticeships in places, or smaller businesses who might want to take on 1 or 2 employees.
Right.
We want to be prepared to take on all those potential opportunities.
So how does somebody connect in there? If I'm a small employer or a large employer and I'm saying, hey, look, there's a potential workforce here. How can I be part of this? Because that's a big deal for everybody.
I would suggest that you contact us at our central office. We can put you in, you can contact my office, put you in contact with our career and technical education principals, and we will make sure that information gets to where it needs to go, and we will do everything we can to work something out with an employer.
Well, great. So what kind of certifications they need to have, they need to be prepared for? I don't know what's going on here, but it's certain insurances. I mean, what are y'all looking for? Just so somebody comes to that table, that conversation kind of prepared.
It varies a little bit by business and age of students and what that business may or may not be able to do.
Okay.
It's really a case by case.
Okay.
And we try to work through that individually with each business and make sure that we provide those opportunities and at least have the discussion.
Right. You don't want to discourage anybody from coming. So I hear you. So call, plug in to the extent you can. It's both beneficial to everybody in the story.
Exactly.
So what are the great things? We talk about basically freshman year. We haven't covered the other 11 years, but what else is going on that's great?
Well, one of the things we've really focused on as a school district, and this has been a board priority and obviously a priority within our office, is to make sure that we do the one most important thing that we can do to support our students in the classroom, and that is to hire the very best, highest quality teachers possible. And we have really expanded our scope and what we try to do in recruiting folks, and we've had some success this year in doing that, particularly in areas that are harder to fill, from math and science, et cetera. So we've made some progress there. We're very excited about that.
Right.
And we've also done a lot of work with instructional alignment within our schools. We want to make sure we're looking at data. We want to make sure we're working together as a team. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that corporations are always looking for. Can an employee work on a team to make the organization better? We're looking for that same thing within our schools. And we want to make sure that we are teaching the things that are most important, aligned with the curriculum, with the state, and engage students so they're interested and excited about it.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, just on the re-recruitment piece, one of the things I was very excited about was the educational foundation that's supporting you guys, right? It's like, I don't know if it's part of the school system, but an augmentation of, but a local number of community folks have gotten together and raised money and said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to re-recruit our own. If you're from Edgecombe County and you want to be a teacher, we want to enable you to do that and come back and do it. And what a great program. I was talking to Arlene, had a chance to talk to her, had a chance to go to that luncheon, and it's kind of exciting to see that, taking the resources that we do have and then really kind of build upon that. So recruiting is one thing, but under somebody who understands the area and having them engage is completely another, in terms of roots, in terms of understanding culture, all those things that matter.
We look at that as retaining talent,
Okay.
even though it's starting a little younger as a high school student, getting into the program,
Right.
and then being able to move forward and come home.
Sure.
And it's a great career. We wish that more people were going into education, but this is a great way, and I think a great way to support that. Our foundation, I think, has done a great job with that. Arlene's done a great job. All the folks that have worked on that, and when they can come home, as you said, they understand our community.
Sure.
They are committed. They own the process, and it makes for a great partnership.
Sure does. So, what else? I'm gonna say recruiting talent. That's, I mean, easier said than done. But
Sure.
but how are you? I mean, but you at the same time, you got a lot of resources in East North Carolina. You got East Carolina University just down the road. You've got Edgecombe Community College. You've got Nash Community College. You've got Wesleyan. You know, there's a lot of resources in East North Carolina that we don't really traditionally think of. But the truth is, we're kind of
Right.
rich in that way.
And there are also people out there who take the non-traditional route sometimes. So we just wanted to make sure that we did everything possible to get out there and work as hard as we
Sure.
could to get folks in the classroom. And I think it's paid off. But that is what makes a difference for students and the quality of that teaching in the classroom. We want to make sure we provide support for beginning teachers.
Right.
And, we can, I'm going to always say this, we can always do better.
Of course.
But we're striving to do that and make sure that we're supporting them, and which in turn supports our students in the classroom.
Well, doing better just implies that you're not settling on where you are. You're always trying to improve, and
No,
that's really,
right.
I think, the message in that statement.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. One other exciting thing that's happened recently is we received a COPS nonviolent grant,
Okay.
nearly $500,000 to support upgrading security in our schools, which was looking at additional cameras, film that can be put on windows to prevent shattering, and some other upgrades with training, et cetera. Dr. Shanda Battle, Mr. Joseph Hayes wrote the grant and did an outstanding job. We're one of only 3 public school entities in the state of North Carolina to actually receive that grant.
Okay.
As I said, over about $500,000. Very excited to get that, and that just to enhance what we already have in place with our weapons detection systems we have in our schools. And it's not one answer for security. It's layers of answers.
Sure.
We're trying to make sure everyone is safe in our schools.
Well, and that's a bigger threat. I actually have some experience in Winder, Georgia. I've got some investments down there, and it's not a very big town. It reminds me a lot of Eastern North Carolina, and so to have a shooting going on down there is just it can happen anywhere. And so you're absolutely right. But let me tell you what, your grant writers, I mean, I'm just kind of off the math back of my head. I mean, you're well into $68 million or so money's coming into the system to help with this mission. And that's tremendous and shows some creativity, shows some forethought, and clearly you've been able to articulate what the challenges are and how we can address them. And so kudos to you and to your team for that.
Thank you. Our team does a great job.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great folks who are good writers, and they're willing to think outside the box sometimes and look for how we can come up with better ways to serve students.
Yeah.
It's always coming back to serving our students, parents, and community.
Well, look, we only have a little bit of time left, but what can I do? What can we do? What can the community do to help you in your mission, your vision, and accomplishing those things? Because that's significant. We're talking about investment in our community. We want to see it be successful. It's what it comes down to is education. And the challenge is it's not a 4-year fix, right? It's not a political term. It is a generational process and not an event. But what can we do to help? And where's the biggest need that you have right now?
I think it always comes back, regardless of situation, comes back to being involved.
Right.
And being part of the conversation. When I first referenced the conversation at that first community meeting I came to in East Rocky Mount, I talked about us working together as a community to better serve our students. And as I've said at many of those meetings, and I'll say it again here today, educating our students is a team sport.
Right.
It's a team sport of all of us working together, whether it's mentoring, tutoring, supporting a school with just some hey, I want to come by and give you some support in an area. I'm going to ask the principal for what we can do to help. All kinds of different things that are out there. I would encourage people to reach out to a principal, reach out to our central office, just reach out to a PTA, booster club, whatever it is,
Right.
and ask.
Okay.
And I think that's where it starts. And that community involvement is important. And when the community has ownership, that's when that true partnership happens, and we can move forward and make our schools even better.
Perfect. We're going to close on that note. I don't think how we sum that up any better than that. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for what you're doing. And it's meaningful and it's impactful. And I'm grateful for you and all that you and your team are doing in Edgecombe County.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your service to the community and having me on today. And I truly appreciate it. And I wish you and everybody else out there watching the very best.
Amen.
Thank you.